Great job. Thank you. Well, now for the fun stuff. So folks, the following part of the program is very important to each of the participants. So I ask you to have fun, but stay with us, okay? Don't run out the door because we've got my brothers are out in the hall ready to get you. My one brother's huge, but anyway, if you could. And we have coffee, like I said, and dessert will be served, so we're going to move it along. We wanted to start the evening with a keynote speaker because this gentleman really embodies Franklin Township's spirit, growth, roots, and what we're all about. And that's Assemblyman Joe Danielsen. He really does embody and live by the motto of his office staff, and that is, always at your service. And that really goes in so many different directions, and I know in his brief speech he's going to talk a little bit about that. Joe entered the General Assembly of New Jersey in October of 2014, replacing Upendra Chivakolu. Since then, he has been re-elected in every election. The last legislative assistant, I'm going to put it this way, and then I'll go into the facts. I had a friend, I get a little emotional here, whose husband suffered terribly with cancer. And she was able, because of the legislation that Joe spearheaded, to get legalized cannabis. And she said to me, not knowing that I know Joe, if you ever meet him, thank him. Because it gave my husband such relief. It gave my husband such relief in his last days. Whether you know it or not, Joe was the champion of that legislation. The current expanded medical cannabis law that is a model for the United States of America. Joe spearheaded that, making cannabis available, medical cannabis available now to 80,000 New Jersey residents. In this law, Joe also fought for more equality for women, for veterans, for disabled veterans, for more inclusion. It is the most comprehensive piece of legislation in the country for cannabis. I was in Atlantic City for the League of Municipalities in October with Wayne Dabowski, his chief of staff, and some staff members, and Joe spoke to hundreds of people. I couldn't believe that was the guy I registered to vote outside the A&P about 30 years ago. And people were in line to talk to him. Now, it may not affect, me, I'm from the 60s, so we had other words for cannabis. But for people who are suffering, that they could get some relief, one man was the tip of the spear of legislation. I'm honored to introduce him to that. Each year, his office, like I said, always at your service. He promotes things like the student backpack drive in the summer, handing out 800 backpacks with school supplies to our kids. Every year, he and his staff, I see Laura here tonight, hold a veterans breakfast at Stage House for over 100 veterans. And he'll talk about it in his talk a little bit, the annual in April job fair. 80 to 100 vendors, 300 to 400 people come in Franklin, Juanita, so that they get jobs in Franklin. Joe's a Franklinite, and his heart's in Franklin. As this new legislative assembly begins, and I was at the swearing in with Wayne and a few others, the Assemblyman serves on the Assembly Financial and Insurance Committee, the Military and Veterans Affairs Committee, and he's chairman of the Oversight Reform and Federal Relations Committee. Joe's got a full plate, to say the least. But like I said earlier, I knew him in his younger days. I knew his mother, Nina. She was one of my teachers in the adult school when I ran adult education back in the 80s. She was an ESL teacher. She raised him right. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a New Jersey hero, Joseph Assemblyman Danielsen. Let's hear it for him.